his story. History, his story. I just decided that if I can keep it in the back of my mind and on the tip of my tongue when the time comes, I'm gonna stop using the word history, and I'm gonna start using the word whose story. Whose story? Whose story are you listening to? What is it you believe? That Hansel and Gretel went into the house and killed the witch and got the hell out of there? Or that they went into the house and the witch put him in the oven and burned him and ate him? Whose story are you gonna believe? There are people that believe in the Tower of Babel. And when it collapsed, as God was up there looking at man trying to get up to him and getting nervous because he's like, oh boy, I've been fucking these people for so long, this is not gonna be good. And so he smited them. And he said, you fuckers, quit talking. Ooh, get away from each other. Get away from each other. And I can't understand you. Say it again. I'd have to take, no! Oh, pop, 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 pop. Spread them all out and change their languages to keep them from coming together again. There are people that believe that. That's a pretty fun story right there. I smite thee. I'm going to say that to somebody in person one day. And see what happens. Remember, I put that one guy in the hospital just by fucking being angry at him. Oh, Henry. Almost killed the motherfucker. It's called cultural drift. The lingual discrepancies. They talk about it, how culture moves and it changes. I've seen it firsthand. I was in Inner Mongolia, and I had this woman address me. She said, Yakshama. And I was like, And she didn't speak Chinese. She had, I'm sure she had a little bit, like, Pijiu and Shangyan, beer and cigarettes. I'm sure she could say that. But she spoke her native tongue. And through the Chinese that I knew, because this was the apex of my learning of Chinese, I was on a 2-week trip all over the place on trains by myself. I was with people from Kazakhstan, not wanting to give me a seat. And I'm sitting there, and I just, at that point, I didn't even speak Chinese. It's sometimes it's a bad idea to let people in China know that you speak Chinese. They won't leave you the fuck alone. And if you're not gonna get a seat, you don't get to talk to me. Pick up your shit, Put it on the floor. Can't be anything wrong with putting it on the floor. That's where mine is, and I gotta sit on it. But she says, Yakshama. And I was like, ooh. And I was able to communicate with her enough to have an understanding. There's something about, just talking to somebody and fucking seeing them and reading them. There has got to be coming a time when just through our facial features and our whatever energies and connections that are being made, that we're not even going to need to use words anymore. It's not necessarily telepathy like they want to give us by putting a fucking prong in our head and shipping us off. It's more like just a language in itself, a meaning behind the way you feel. But they've been taken away with feel away from us. We're not supposed to show people the way we feel anymore. That's long before this. Long before that. It's called manners. And you know, it's like, well, if I'm being polite, then you don't understand how I feel. And if you don't understand how I feel, you don't know, maybe you better quit fucking doing it. That's how we're supposed to be able to get along. You know, just stay the fuck away from me. You know, if you don't put that across to people, then they're sitting there, oh, he's so nice. Oh, yes, please. Yeah, it's a rough day, but I'll be okay. You know, I've never said that, I don't think. But, yeah, so they still stick around. You got to be able to put forth your feelings in order for people to understand what they're dealing with at the time, and they'll know maybe I need to give them a little bit of space. And so this is the language, the look, you know. Oh, ha. All these different sadness and, you know, I'm not going respectively, but surprise and just, are you out of your fucking mind? I'm feeling a little bit crazy. Maybe you better get away from me. So that might be part of why I was able to communicate so well with people in these places, because I don't give a shit about any of that. Let's talk. And came to understand that Yak Shema means how are you in Mongolia, Inner Mongolia. You go to my homeland, Poland, Yak Shema is how are you? And I was just like, when I heard her say that and came to realize that it meant exactly what I heard her saying, I was like, wow. These fucking Mongolians really made their way around. The Mongolians, yeah. I ate in a yurt and drank baijiu with a picture of fucking that guy, Genghis Khan, over me, and was doing Conan things. And next thing I came to, I was in my bed. I don't know how much I scared the fuck out of these people. But that's cultural drift. There is a word, a phrase in both languages that far away. The past. And much of the rest of it is different, but there's still a little bit left. So I go by cultural drift, whereas there are some people want to believe so bad in the Tower of Babel, why we speak different languages, and whose story? Whose story are you going to buy? Are you going to buy into my story? You might as well. I'm making it up the same as everybody else, except I'm not trying to get anything out of you.